A superfan episode. Welcome, everybody, to a superfan episode of Beach Talk Radio. I am Kim Ryan, and today my special guest is Megan Allers, the wife of Dan Allers, who, as you know, is running for town council. Welcome, Megan, and thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I wanted to interview you to discuss the impact this election process has had on you and your family. But first, give us a little background. I know you and Dan are relative newlyweds. How long have you guys been married, and how long have you lived on Fort Myers Beach?
Sure. We got married in June. We actually met here on the beach 6.5 years ago. I've been a full-time resident for about 7 years. Dan for about 8.
Wow. So you guys have just been married just a little over 6 months.
Yeah. So still newlyweds.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay. So in a nutshell, I am a software specialist for a medical laboratory software company. So I sell laboratory software that basically your doctor sends in a panel for cholesterol or something like that that needs to be done on you, and my software reads all of that information and passes it back to your doctor's office. It's not glamorous, but I guess now with the coronavirus, it's amping up quickly.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be busy for a while, and, lucky for you, you work at home, I guess. So that's all
Yes,
good.
I do. Yeah.
Now I see you supporting Dan at all of the events that go on. What else do you do, and what else have you been helping him with his campaign, considering you do work, and you have your own stuff going on?
Yeah, it's a constant revolving calendar right now. We've tried to canvas as much as we can and meet up with as many people as we can. Obviously, part of that is going to a lot of events. Scheduling is a big thing. His schedule is crazy right now, and just kind of keeping everything in the mix and reaching out to people when it's necessary. I feel like my Vote for Dan shirt is on almost every single day, and I'm happy to do it. When we started this, you have to think we've been doing this for almost 2 years now because of the election last year. When we started this, we really talked about how it would impact our lives and how some things would change with regards to our own personal schedules. And our time is not often our own anymore. It's more dedicated to other things.
Well, yeah, and I imagine, some of your private life sort of gets pulled in there. You kind of have to be an open book.
Yeah, absolutely. That it's a big part of it. We're always around the island. People have seen us for years. We've always been involved in things. I'm personally heavily involved with the Women's Club. I was just nominated secretary of the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club. I'm also secretary for folks down at Lovers Key. Chamber ambassador, he's a chamber ambassador, so we've been heavily involved with things for a very long time. But yeah, your personal life does get drawn into it quite a bit.
Now, the election is coming this Tuesday, the 17th, right around the corner, St. Patrick's Day. And for the last two weeks, pretty much every day, there's been a barrage of negative and mean-spirited flyers attacking Dan, your husband, disseminated by a PAC funded by unknown person or persons. How has this affected you and your family?
When it first started, the first one comes out, you're kind of like, well, this is a little hokey. The majority of them have targeted both Dan and Bruce Butcher. Excuse me. And you look at it, by the time the third one came, that was personally about Dan. Your first instinct is to get really angry about it. It's personal. It's obviously not factual, but it's still a personal attack, and it's a personal attack on integrity. And when you're talking about that integrity, you've got a guy who has been willing and open for 2 years to anybody who wants any sort of information from us. His phone number is on Facebook and all of his printed information, and our address is on there. People can come right to our door and knock on the door and ask us a question. So to attack that integrity was a little bit frustrating. And your first instinct is to get aggravated into there's a lot of swearing around the house the first couple days, but honestly, by the time the third one came out, it had the toilet on it and the plunger and the pipe wrench, and you just can't take it seriously anymore. I mean, I think way more people are seeing through just the negativity of it and the non-factual piece of it, and not concentrating on what kind of people Bruce and Dan are. They already know what kind of people they are. They know they're high integrity. They know they're going to be good for the town. They're looking past that, and they're recycling it more often than not.
Yeah, it's somewhat comes across as cartoonish at this point, and who can take any of that seriously?
It really becomes comical. And I think the sad part of it is it's obviously a lot of dollars that go into it. And those are dollars that could really be better used somewhere else. We talk about different issues we have on the island. We have Bay Oaks going up for revamping. We have a vet memorial that people would like to see, and lighted street crossings. I mean, think of all those dollars that some of that could go into, and instead it's going on these comical flyers that are coming out behind a pack that just won't even acknowledge who they are. I think now the only frustrating piece for me is that we really don't know who that set is that's publishing these. We know what pack they're behind, and as it's kind of a rabbit hole trying to figure that information out. And when you talk about transparency, and you have somebody like Dan who's been wide open about all of his intentions for what he would love for the town, and how much he supports initiatives in the town, it's sad that these people do this in the name of protecting their beach, but they won't own it. And there's always room to sit at the table and talk about issues, but when you hide behind something like this, it just creates more diversion. It creates more chaos, and it just doesn't do the town any good. And it's unfortunate.
So up to this point, you guys have not been able to figure out firmly who's behind all of this. I'm sure there's speculation, but nothing. Yeah,
that's correct.
It is difficult. It's very deeply layered in there when you're moving stuff around from 30 different packs to kind of peel that back and see where the money has actually come from. So
that's right. And I think it'll shake out over time. Obviously it's not time before the election where we can say definitively, okay, it was this set of people or whatever. But we have a lot of people have reached out to us, and we can't appreciate it enough. Just people saying that they see through it, they go right in the trash. It doesn't impact how they think of Dan as a candidate, or Bruce for that matter. And that they think that these are good people for the town, and this is a positive direction that our town is going in. That's the thing that they want to focus on more.
And those are the two business supporters in the background, correct?
Holy no.
Hey, it's fine.
Holy.
Well,
someone's walking their dog.
That's okay.
Okay, you're fine.
Okay.
It's an exciting afternoon here.
Right. We'll give you a couple of minutes to straighten that out. Now, have there been any other negative comments that have been directed at you or family members?
We had some earlier. Sorry. I'm sorry. We had some earlier, specifically towards Dan and his daughter. And obviously, again, non-factual. And those are frustrating because you kind of go into mama bear mode.
Exactly.
When you start to talk about a child or an ex-significant other, who really has no control over what's going on in this election. And specifically, you're talking about a minor. I just feel that there's no place for that. We have a very close relationship, both with his ex and his daughter. She's here quite frequently, and we go back to Minnesota to see her. So, that piece of it's hard, but again, you take the fact from the fiction, and you kind of put those blinders on and just stay the course.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think the people on Fort Myers Beach can see right through this. They're intelligent people, and they're going to vote according to what they know is factual. So finally, what would you like people to know about Dan that will make him a super fantastic councilman coming up?
There's just so many great things about him. Everybody knows he's approachable. Everybody knows that, within 10 minutes of meeting him, you just like him. I mean, that's just his nature. It's his nature to be involved and to help. As many people know, he's a master captain. We boat often. Just one small example, if we're boating and he sees somebody that's on a sandbar, he stops. He gets out of the boat and helps push that boat off the sandbar each and every time. It's just his nature. He's not a sideline guy. He's one to roll up his sleeves and really get into it. And I think that's what makes him so successful in what he does every day and how he's approachable.
Yeah, and I know he's got the experience from being on the LPA and being involved in so many other things down there on the beach that really gives him some experience. And he's already run once before, so we are
by
wishing
very
him
slim
luck.
margin. So we are definitely hoping that margin is gone this year. But we're very positive. I think it's going to be nothing but good results. And like I said, people kind of read through the baloney and see it for what it is.
All right. So what's your plan for the celebration for the big win?
We'll be at Tuckaway. Tuckaway has graciously offered to host and stop by and say hi to us that evening. We would love to see everybody. And we're really looking forward to it. 5 more evenings, and we'll know what's what.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and speaking with us today. And we look forward to seeing you and celebrating in the future.
Absolutely. And sorry about Foley. I guess I should have put a vote for Dan shirt on him.
Popped him right in the screen.
But thanks for your time, Kim. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
So we're going to sign off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.